r/ProRevenge.
Pops makes dirty thieves literally eat shit. I have really loved sharing stories about my pops, my grandfather, the man who raised me, and I thought I would share another story of Pops just being Pops. Pops lived on the family farm his entire life, and that's where this takes place. It's mine now. The farm itself is huge, 80 acres of grazing and hay production land. Pops mostly raised cows and chickens, and another 120 plus acres of forest, marsh and wetlands. Up near the main house, Pops had his veggie and berry garden, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, all the berries. Pops liked to make his own homebrew, blame the Irish DNA. One fine summer morning, August of 2001, Pops is returning from town and he is greeted by a couple in their 30s hauling ass to their car parked at the front of our property, each with 40 liters buckets. Pops checked out what had been going on. Almost half the berry bushes had been stripped clean. Pops was not the type to fly off the handle, but he took a trip into town to look for the car and he found it. It was a couple of out-of-towners, and Pops have them a stern warning not to come back. The next morning, Pops was doing his normal start of the day routine: make breakfast, wake me up to do chores. As we got out, Pops saw them again hauling us back to their car. Pops jumped into his truck, caught up to them and told them off, said if they ever come back it's going to be hell for them. We woke up the next day to find tire tracks on the field and each and every berry bush stripped clean. We later found out they had been hitting up farmers markets selling fresh berries. Pops not being the kind of person to take things laying down, especially if someone's fucking with his future booze. There's a lot Pops did to ensure he was protected for the future, but I'm going to give you the short version. Pops decided to expand his berry operation to the entire field, as well as get the farm license to produce and sell berries. And early September, I remember this well, made me do half the work. We filled the entire front field, planted several hundred strawberry, raspberry, blackberry, blueberry bushes. One thing, they are perennial plants. The season they are planted will be a very light fruiting, but the next growing season they explode. Pops fenced off half the field and left a good portion open, easy access. Pops knew they would be back next year. He knew they believed they found a golden goose, free money. Well, the start of next growing season, Pops had a special fertilizer ready for the open part of the field. Raw human waste. Now the thing about spraying the soil and plants with that is it's not treated. Even cow fertilizer is treated. But in its raw state, the plants being sprayed daily, well, it will make the berries putrid. It gets deep in them and no amount of washing will get it out. And Pops sprayed every bush on the not fenced inside every damn day and waited. And as Pops predicted, summer of 2002 they came back. He caught them again, buckets in hand, hauling us back to the car. Again, Pops confronted them with a stern warning they will regret eating the fruit. It wasn't even 24 hours later they were back, this time with the law in tow, screaming up a fury that Pops tried to poison them. Pops just smiled and said, I warned you not to come on my land and steal from me, then berries ain't for eating. The cops were about to tell them to just fuck off and not come back when Pops said, oh wait a minute. Pops came out with all his licenses packed in a neat little file folder, licensing his land that was already zoned for agricultural use as a licensed food production farm. The cops' eyes lit up like, oh, I know what you're getting at. You see, up here in Canada it's a bit of a big crime to steal from a farm, even more so if it's got all the licenses to produce food. At this point I was out on the porch watching every thief go down. Man, the law screamed at them to sit their asses down while he called backup. They were taken off our land in cuffs. So not only did they get a mouthful of human waste-filled berries, but walked out getting over a $10,000 fine. TLDR, berry thieves get a mouthful of human waste and a nice big fine.
A response to the post.
Bet they didn't leave with a shit-eating grin.
A response to the post.
$10. 000.00. Fine and a mouthful of dollar hit. They were lucky not to have an ass full of birdshot.
A response to this comment.
Seriously, I never heard of a farmer who wouldn't sit watch with a shotgun if someone was doing this. After the second time catching them, it's time for them to see a gun pointed at them.